My name is Rachel, and today I want to talk about my top 5 winter reads. So these books are my favorite books that I read in the winter months, so December, January, and February. And these are in no particular order except that they might be in the order that I read them. So let's jump in. So first of all, I would say The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, and I think this was just absolutely fantastic. We read this for book club and for my student book club, and I think we're a mixed bag. I think some people enjoyed it more than others, but I was one of the ones that very, very much enjoyed this. I think one of the issues that some people had, but I actually really enjoyed, was the fact that it's very heavy-handed in the feminism aspect. It's not hard to see. So The Gilded Ones is basically following our main character who, during a ritual to check if their blood is pure, turns out her blood is allegedly not pure, and it comes out gold instead of red. So they immediately whisk her off to like the dungeon. They're trying to kill her because they believe she's a demon, but our main character has a saving grace. A lady shows up and whisks her away back to the kingdom and this training ground where she becomes one of the Alaki warrior fighters. These are all girls who had gold blood, and it turns out they're very hard to kill, and they're turned into warriors to protect the whole kingdom from these creatures that lurk around the outside of the country. And it's very interesting. I just wanted to keep reading and see what happened, and like I said, very heavy-handed with the feminism, but very enjoyable. I really enjoyed this, and the sequel's coming out sometime, I think in April, so definitely stay tuned for the sequel if you enjoyed this first one. The next one was 5 Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. This is a YA murder mystery that I'm anticipating maybe reading with my book club next year, and I really enjoyed this. I feel like it was a little predictable maybe, but I really, really enjoyed the ride, no pun intended. It follows our main character who ends up being kind of stranded at an airport and ends up accepting a ride from this group of teens, and it turns out none of the group knows each other like she anticipated, and it's just a collection of 5 strangers, and each of them seems a little bit suspicious. Things start going missing and kind of sketchy things start happening, and we have to figure out which one of them is trying to keep all of them from making it home. And I really enjoyed the ride. Like I said, I think it was fun. I think this will be a great one for book club to talk about all of our theories as we read, and I'm super excited to see what the kids think about it if we decide to read this one next year. Next up is The Quiet Zone by Steve Kersey. This one was just a wild book. It presents itself as a nonfiction book centered around a town in the Appalachian Mountains that is a radio quiet zone, national radio quiet zone. So they're not supposed to have radios, sometimes not even microwaves. They can't have a lot of cell phones, Wi-Fi, things like that would interfere with their telescope. But it turns out they basically do. A lot of the townspeople are unwilling to not have access to the digital world like the rest of us as technology advances, but there is a lot else going on in this town. There is a camp of Nazis that's local. There were some murders back in the day from a rainbow festival. There's all kinds of stuff. Patch Adams shows up. I mean, this book is wild just because so much is happening in this little town that's supposed to be a national radio quiet zone. It's very, very interesting. Next up is I Hope This Finds You Well by Kate Baer. This was fantastic. This is a collection of poetry, and I'm not huge with poetry, so if I'm recommending it, I think you should be safe reading it, even if you're not a big poetry fan. Basically, this is a collection of like what I call found poems. She had another name for it, but I don't remember what it was. So she collects all of these messages that she gets off social media. Some of them are positive, some of them are not, and she basically just selects the words from the message and transplant them into a poem as a response, and it's fantastic. fantastic. And if you want a little taste of it, you should follow Kate Bear on Instagram. She posts these very often on her Instagram, so you can kind of see what it's like, and then definitely go read. I hope this finds you well. And then finally, the book I just finished was Rock, Paper, Scissors. This is by Alice Feeney, and this was a wild ride as well. That's like the theme, I guess, of this collection of books here. I did actually buddy read this one with Kevy over at Say Kevy. I'll leave her channel link down below, but it was so much fun, and I think the buddy reading definitely escalated the experience, so I think that's why this one made the list. But essentially we're following a couple who are going away for their anniversary in the hopes that maybe this trip to Scotland will kind of revive some of their relationship, because it's not going well. But things from the get-go seem shady and very sketchy, and they are suspicious from the beginning. I think it very much escalates, obviously, as it would in a thriller, but it was very interesting. And then when you think things couldn't get any shadier, it turns out there's a woman living on the ground who seems to be very much involved with what's happening with this couple. So I would recommend reading it. I would recommend buddy reading it, because like I said, I had a lot of fun reading it with Kevy, and it was very good. I think this was a really, really fun reading experience. So there you have my top 5 books that I've read over the course of the winter months. Let me know if you've read any of these and agree with my opinions. Let me know your top 5 that you've read this winter, and let's talk books down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video soon. Bye for now.